Hi and welcome. Today I'm creating a mixed media painting on a piece of canvas, and I'm going to use these Paul Rubens metallic oil pastels. They were so kind and sent them to me so I could try them out, and I really like the beautiful packaging, and I think they would make a gorgeous Christmas gift for an artist. And I also believe that metallic oil pastels is something that a lot of artists don't have, maybe because it's something more special. Today I want to try them out together with acrylic inks and paints on that piece of canvas. The canvas is cut from a Dina Wakley Media Journal because I almost never use the canvas pages, and I thought I would cut them out and use them separately to create a piece of art. You see me swatching some of the oil pastels so I see how the colors are looking, and if I want to use them, I have used one of my color cards as my color scheme today, and you can see which ones I am going to use. I will also write the names of the pastels that I'm using in the video description. The piece of canvas is prepped with heavy gesso. I only added one layer. I'm using the Liquitex heavy gesso and it's pretty thick, and one layer was enough for me. I'm starting with the oil pastels, and you might know that oil pastels are waterproof. That means they will build a resist against any kind of watery medium, and I want to use them. Here you can see how shiny they are if you give them a little bit of a polish with your fingers. I want to use them with acrylic paints that I'm diluting with water, or with acrylic inks that I will also mix with a little bit of water, and I'm curious to see how intense the effect will be of the resist. You can see I'm just starting by scribbling some marks over my canvas, and I just blend over the bigger areas. I would not blend the whole line because then I would just smear it and it will lose its crispy look. I'm thinking about which one I want to use next. I'm not sure if I use all of the ones I've grabbed here. I don't think so. We will see. I'm making more marks with the turquoise one, and I just create some ovals. I will now wet the whole spread and use some acrylic inks, and I will come in with the oil pastels later to finish up the spread. I'm giving it a really good amount of water so that the acrylic inks have some room to play and to flow, and I also expect the resist effect will be much better with a lot of water, of course. I'm picking acrylic inks that are matching my color scheme, and this one is, I believe, Cadmium Orange from Schmincke. I will also list the names of the inks in the video description. And the one I'm using first is from the Amsterdam series, and it must be, I believe, the light olive green. It's one of my favorite colors. And I just let the paint flow and let it do its thing. I love the randomness you get. And you already can see that the resist effect works great. I really like that. Next, I'm grabbing the turquoise green from the Amsterdam acrylic inks. I really enjoyed creating this piece of canvas, and I will definitely do this now every time with the canvas pieces from the journal. I'm also imagining that this canvas piece can be perfectly used to wrap a book cover. So, for example, if you make your own art journals from old books, you can use these kind of canvas pieces to wrap around your front cover and maybe also your back cover, of course, to create a beautiful journal. This is the orange from Schmincke, and wow, that flow is amazing. It's a total difference against the Amsterdam inks. I'm trying to remove the ink from the turquoise area, and that also works perfectly. I'm just dabbing the ink off with a baby wipe really light because I don't want to smear the oil pastels. I'm just turning my piece around. Sometimes I'm doing this when I'm working abstract because sometimes upside down the painting looks better or it makes a difference, and you can just play around in the other direction, and that keeps the process more interesting, I feel. I want to use a dark brown ink, but I don't have an acrylic ink. I'm wondering if this drawing ink will work in the same way. And I can tell you, yes, it does. It's from Rohrer and Klingner, and it's a permanent drawing ink. And I just use a pipette to apply it. I added a little bit more water with my spray bottle. And the resist technique works also pretty good with the drawing ink. I'm going in with a brush to move the ink around. I was missing a pop of color here, and I decided to change my plant color scheme a little and add in some fluorescent pink. This ink is from Sennelier. I'm adding in a little bit more of the pink to intensify the area. I will now let this dry completely, and then I come back and I will add some white to brighten up the page and some more of the oil pastels to finish it up. I'm using white acrylic paint, and I'm using the artist grade from Schmincke because it's a more fluid and pretty opaque paint, and I don't want to add tons of layers to cover the areas completely. And this paint also has so much pigment that when you mix it with water, it gives you enough to run over your page, but it will also have a lot of pigment left in the area where you've added it. I wanted to add a little bit of texture and mark making into the wet paint, and I'm picking a pastel pencil in turquoise to make the marks. Of course, you can use any kind of pencil, even the color is not that important because there is not much color transferring onto the surface. I paused my video to let it dry, and then I forgot to click the record button again, and here you see that I missed a little bit. I just used that dark oil pastel and painted in this area you can see here, and in between I heated it with my heat tool to blend it. That makes it easier to blend. You have to be a little bit careful not to burn your finger because with that heat tool it gets really hot in a short time, but the pastels are blending beautifully, and here you can see how shimmery they turn out. I'm missing a bit of color in this area here, and I'm going to use that turquoise oil pastel. And I'm also mixing in some of that green because it's matching that light olive green I've used before very well. I really liked how this piece turned out, and I had a lot of fun creating it, and will definitely do this again because it's so playful and fun. This is what I always loved about oil pastels, that they remind me of my childhood and they are so playful and fun, and I'm happy that I'm discovering ways how to use them in my artwork. It's a bit of a tricky stuff because you need to fix it, especially when you're working in an art journal. And what I am doing is I just lay a piece of thin tracing paper in between my art journal pages if I have pastels or crayons on top, and that protects the pages. To finish this piece up, I'm adding some splatters with the fluorescent ink, and then it's ready to hang onto my wall. I really enjoyed using these oil pastels, and I am sure I will use them also on future projects. I think they are super nice and shiny with a satin finish. It's not that they are super bright and glittery. It's the right amount, I would say. Yes, and that was my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you have some leftover canvas pages in your Dina Wakley journal. And of course, you don't have to cut them out. You can create the same thing in your journal, of course. Just maybe protect the other pages with a piece of paper to prevent it from getting the oil pastels transferred to the other side. I wish you a nice rest of the week. Bye!